Broadcasting live from the ravaged bayous of Louisiana. Here we are, folks. Another Thursday. Another day ending in Y. Why? And I would once again like to begin this show straight off the bat by telling you, sponsor your local comic and game shop. Excalibur Comics, cards and games in Shreveport, Louisiana. Screenshot that. Buy a comic. Not because you want to or have to, because you need to. We got a good show for you tonight. I think so. I don't know. Nobody gives a shit what I do. But we're gonna deal out some let's see, how did I have it described to me? Some brokey copium. We have contacted personally a charter from the Omnisaya, and we to dispatch some justice in the WaRHaMmer community tonight, and we're going to get to that. First, we'll say hi to a few people. Dins, hey, my Colombian ally, how are you doing, sir? Robert, you know what you did. How are you doing, Diaz? No, we are not talking about movies tonight. Get it out of your head. Just nope. I still need a few more weeks to recover from Shark Jaws. Dear gods. And right now I am on second season, episode 9 of Black Sails, and no spoilers, but damn, son. I really haven't been interested in pirate stuff for a while, it's outside of actual nonfiction, historical pirate stuff. But that show is a slap to the conscious. It is it has an adequate amount of TNA, for those who lose interest quickly. And I could not imagine having to watch this on a week by week basis. Thank the Omnisaya for binge watching. But yeah, Black Sails has been, it always gets me with these shows, because as an armchair quarterback, you're like, stop doing that. That you're getting this far, and then some idiot comes in and does something and brings it back, to less than where you started 3 episodes before. And Ronnie, welcome, brother. And Black Sails is absolutely like that. Just where you think, like, man, everything is about to finally go the way it needs to, and get some closure, work on this. Nope. Piracy, sir. Yar. Oh, yeah. I can't recommend Black Sails enough. It's a very, very worthy watch, and I got to hurry up and finish it, because apparently it's it stops being on Netflix on April 16th, somewhere in there. So I've got to hurry up and get that done with because I'm tired of. I don't keep paying for Netflix. It's a like a that's a special treat. I save it up, you know, let it let it let it marinate for a couple months. Get some, juices mingling and build up, because I when I go into Netflix, I go in hard, man. I hit that, you know, ain't watched this, knock it out. Ain't watched this, knock it out, knock it out. And then I'm left with dead internet, Netflix. I've seen what it's got that I want to watch. And, so I've got to shut it down for a little bit, let it uh let it rebuild its assets that I have abused. By the way, this mention of hydrate is brought to you by the toy community's one of the greatest assets. And I mean that truly. This Saturday is D Amazing's birthday. Shh. Tell everybody. So if I don't holler at you by this Saturday, D Amazing, this hydrates for you. Happy birthday, man. Everybody else, make sure you stop by one of his many social media sites and tell him happy birthday this Saturday. So, holy crap, really? You know what? That's seriously. Sorry. Now that you say that, I can absolutely see that in his acting because he brings it to the table. I didn't think I was going to like this show at all from the get go. I almost just watched it out of spite because I was like, I spent a lot of time on the barrier islands, in the Carolinas and, the Blackbeard and some of the actual nonfiction pirate history and Bonnie. I don't care what pirate you like. And Bonnie kicked all of their ass. Blackbeard, oh man, wussy. And Bonnie was the baddest ass pirate to ever pirate. I mean, it just and they don't. I'm like I said, I'm only season 2, halfway through season 2, so I hadn't got to see the full. Just a little taste of the Anne Bonny experience. But I think um, I really hope they use that because she was amazing, absolutely amazing as a pirate. Uh, Ruthless. I mean, ruthless. Every every piracy, trope that you've heard over the years, and Bonnie puts it all to Spain. To Spain. See, I'm trying to read Denz's comment and talk at the same time. You're in Spain, not Colombia. Woo! Hey, listen, you'll definitely want to check out the replay because we are doing a giveaway, and the replay comments are going to play heavily into that. And so, but yeah, it's well, congratulations. I hope that's working out. Spain is listen. I know that they're man, respect to Spain. That's all I'm going to say. I'll leave it at that. At I I would if I had if I didn't have all the problems even trying to speak English at the moment, health problems, um, I would absolutely, man, I Newfoundland and Spain. I Spain's beautiful. But yeah, dude, and on behalf of some of the crap that's causing all that funked up, um, I apologize. I don't know if I can personally apologize for an entire nation, just trying to stick their thumb in everybody's brown round, but I'm sorry, man. It All I can tell you is I really hope that we just do better. Um, it's I heard somebody say one time they were talking about British immigration. I think it was maybe Trevor Noah or something like that. He's got a bit where he was talking about um some old timer was I'm paraphrasing all this. It was like I don't understand why everybody keeps wanting to come here. It's like, well, you've been for 4 centuries telling everybody this is the greatest place on earth. Why wouldn't they want to come here? You tell everybody that America is the greatest, the 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 mandate, the whatever it is, it's we the greatest nation on earth. God bless America. All this, blah blah blah. And why do these people keep coming here? Humans are the stupidest things I've ever encountered. Yeah, yeah. It's like I was just saying about talking about those episodes of Black Sails. You get 3 episodes in on the story arc, and you're like, oh, here it comes, man. Here it comes. We're finally gonna get that that satisfaction, man. That liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. Nope. Charles Vane comes in, screws it all up. Burn Charleston to the ground. I don't know if that happens. No, I'm not giving away spoilers. You know what? Actually, scratch that. I'm not going to give away spoilers, but I absolutely will, because I don't give two shits about spoilers. So if you're definitely someone who is like, I don't want spoilers, or screw you, Max, for putting out spoilers, I promise you, this is not the environment for you, because I will spoil your night 100%. Jack dies at the end of Titanic. Rose pushes him right into the fucking water. You see, I don't care. I don't care. Don't feel nothing over that. Bruce Willis was dead the whole time. I don't care. No. Gollum in the One Ring fall into Mount Doom. It's all coming from me. I don't care. I've always been somebody that I don't care about spoilers, because if I am if I like the story, I'm going to find out. You're like, oh, so and so did this. Man, I'm sorry to give you a spoiler. I don't care. I want to find out what led to that event. So you're not spoiling anything for me. You're just, you know, it's people in spoilers. They take it way too seriously. I mean, Dumbledore's gay, so Oh yeah, listen, man. What Bruce Willis is going? See, this is Dens. This is why I'm too old to learn Spain. It's another language. Um, Man, what's going on with Bruce Willis right now is absolutely tragic. I feel him because a lot of the things that are he's going through is probably my next 15 years. So if I'm lucky, so yeah, that oof, scares the shit out of me. I'm not even gonna lie. That hold on. Um, so I am going to be doing a giveaway, and it brings us to tonight's. We're gonna for so last week I talked about these, and I put a few of them together, and I've got one primed up and ready to paint for tonight. Got daughter's little wet palette and all of her favorite brushes that she hates me using. We're gonna paint it up live tonight, but first we're gonna do a little talking about WaRHaMmer, uh, and Games Workshop especially because I posted up a couple because everybody's. I'm trying to build this channel up, um, out of necessity. It needs to be able to take care of itself. Um, so I'm in doing that. I posted up a few shorts, and StreamYard has a little button you click, and it runs through, and it's like, "Hey, here's some shorts," and I'm like, "Okay, fine, cool." I didn't have to do any editing. I don't give a shit. Post it and run. Let it go. So, uh, I posted up one that was talking about a little clip of what we talked about last week of the Killzone board game that these are a part of. So your kill team, I think it was, which basically you have 7 figures, and I guess and that's it. The whole board game. And also, everybody tell Rowdy how sad you are that the hour leading up to me yapping wasn't filled with an hour of her rapping, right? Wapping, talking a lot, yapping. So, where you at, Rowdy? Huh? Where you at, Rowdy? All right. Hi, Rowdy. Anyway, so it posted up a clip about the price of this board game, which includes, I think, a dozen figures. So it's your average box set that WaRHaMmer puts out. Excuse me. Was $115. And then for a 6 or 7 team miniature set of figures, the actual kill teams, um, was another $70 a shot. And I'd mentioned that I was in the wrong life business. I'd made the wrong choices, that I should have gotten into the you know, the Citadel market, and let me tell you, people don't like it when you say mean things about their hobbies. People get their feelings hurt. And I was accused of being a brokey copium. Um, it there were some good comments on that little short about how, hey, you can take, as you always can, With any Warhammer game, you can proxy. You could use quarters, nickels, and dimes to take the place of those figures. You don't have to. You could 3D print them. You could take other. Um, excuse me, one second. All right, and so there's lots of options that you can do if you have the rules. Um, and excuse me one second. IRL is calling. Hey, kids, everybody out there, when's the last time you called your mom? Call your mom. All right. Anyway, um, there's plenty of options when it comes to Warhammer stuff. I was making a joke. Do I believe that Warhammer stuff is amazingly overpriced for what it is? Absolutely. And for the next little bit, before I get started on painting, and probably a little bit while I'm painting, I'm going to discuss some of the reasons why it's bullshit. And I've had a theorem on this for a while, and I call it the TSR problem because it's not a new problem. It's a problem that has plagued almost every RPG, paper wise, that has ever existed. Were you back in the days of Rogue Trader? You know why you don't see Rogue Trader stuff on the shelf anymore? You know why you don't see your old TSR Dragonlance and why Gary Gygax died broke? We're going to talk about that tonight. And then we're also going to talk about a real reason to dislike Games Workshop, a legitimate reason, not just a their minis are too expensive and I don't have enough money. Believe me, I have spent more money with Games Workshop in my lifetime than a lot of people have. Whether I have regrets for that or not is, I like minis. I've always liked minis. Something my grandmother started me on with some old Indiana Jones Temple of Doom lead miniatures from TSR in 1983. So my love of miniatures is most of my life and probably all of some of yours. Is there a big red wasp up there? Oh, wonderful. Yay. Okay. So if I start screaming and running out of the room halfway through this episode tonight, you'll know. So I don't even know really where to start with this. I have a lot of Citadel stuff. I have been, like I said, I've been buying Games Workshop and Citadel my entire life. I never really had a reason to actually hate that Games Workshop company until probably the last 10 years. Which coincides with a marketing strategy that they got into. But nowhere else do you have miniatures that are priced the way theirs are. And they weren't always that way. I mean, back in the days of even fantasy Warhammer when they were all made out of pewter. Hell, even back into the lead days, which is probably the reason why I've got most of the problems I've got now. It's probably lead and pewter miniatures. Um, the TSR problem is let me just start with that and explain what the TSR problem is. The TSR problem is a problem that every RPG company has. You print a module that tells you how to play the game. You put it in a hardback book. You make a TSR D&D red box. That right there gives you literally almost everything that you need to play that game. Now, in the days of second edition, especially the Forgotten Realms, you had, I mean, for me, especially marketing wise, they had the best solution to their problem, but even that was finite. You had box sets. You know, you wanted to learn about Waterdeep or Menza Baranzan, or Icewind Dale or anything else Ed Greenwood was putting out. They made a box set, and you had a as a company. Remember, this is the TSR problem. You had the ability to keep producing revenue past, because the way I produce a red box, I put it out there, it tells you everything you need to know. Well, typically the only time you're going to really need another box is when the next generation comes into that hobby. So they're going to, well, I want my own. Or you damage it or you tear it up or something. You weren't smart enough to laminate those maps or anything like that. So, you know, and you might want it in a hardback book. But eventually you put out enough of these box sets and you've put yourself out of business, because nobody is going to need more box sets. You've printed a shit ton of them. They're out there. Nobody's needing to replace them very often. You can, like me, pass the hobby down to your kid. Now, you know, they don't need to go out and buy another set because they have yours. Or, you know, the nemesis of all TSR employees, Xerox. And then it got put on the internet when, you know, when that became a thing. Every games company has this problem. Once they put it out there, it's kind of like, to put it in modern terms that can really sink in, it's kind of like some of these people who do 3D sculpts or 3D printing. They don't, once they send you that file, who's to say you can't pass it on to everybody? Just the kind-hearted, warm and fuzziness of all humanity. Yeah, you know, that's worked out well in the past. Once TSR and, you know, going into even modern times, Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro has this problem today. Once they put, you know, it's the reason why Games Workshop was, they got pretty legendary with it there for a while. You know, you had first edition, and then, oh, well, you know, we've made enough changes to the rule, we need to come out with another. And then it got to the point where, just like with all these other companies, they were putting out new editions every couple of years just to keep you buying more books. And that's kind of where that is what the TSR problem is. What I have given the nomenclature, the TSR problem. Um, and the knowledge is out there. These marketing teams like Wizards of the Coast, they're like, you know, I know that they've had this conversation. They're like, we need to put out a new edition because instead of just like I still got all my second edition books. If they stop printing shit today, I still have all my books that allow me to play second edition because Thaco for life, bitches. Um, that being said, fifth edition D&D is fun. They've got a good thing, but they're running into that problem. How do we keep people buying our damn books and buying it enough to where it's not a niche market? Either we put a player's handbook into the hands of every person playing that game, and I swear to God, Diaz, I'm going to fucking ban you. Hey, listen, if you like 3.5, that's fantastic. For me, I think side note to, comment on Diaz's 3.5 is king. I was a second edition player, and then 3.5 came out, and I just could not I had a boomer syndrome, I guess. I'm not a boomer, but Gen X syndrome. I just could not wrap my head around Thaco not existing. So, but if you like 3.5, I am super excited. Hey, listen, you like the hobby. And and not everybody role plays at all. So it's RPGs have always been a little bit of a niche market. It's expanded greatly in the last, however many years with Critical Role and, all these other people finally admitting that their Hollywood movie script brainstorming sessions were nothing but RPG games. But it's gotten it used to be back in the day, you still don't see events, changes to D&D back in the day. Let me tell you how they used to come about. If it wasn't Gygax or Greenwood sitting in the back room actually playing and realizing, okay, we need to add this house rule. Okay, we've added this house rule enough. We need to, make a cliff note. We need to come back to it, see how it works on some other things, and then maybe we'll put it out in, as a cliff note or, a little thing next time you buy. We'll include a slip of paper in the back of the book. Or at an RPGA tournament where you would go and have, miniature painters and gamers all sitting around, and you'd see 100 tables. I went to one in Phoenix, Arizona. It was absolutely an amazing event. I wish that Gygax had a better day that day. Something was going on. I didn't have a great meeting with him, but he's still, I've heard over the years, an incredibly nice guy. But the TSR problem is still, for all our purposes tonight, is always going to be a problem with role-playing game systems. Either you're going to have a few books put out, limited publication, and then people hunting for those books or copies available online, and people just download do they still do torrents? I don't know if those are still a thing. But just get it off LimeWire. Get that file that says Metallica Puppet Master. It's surely that's what that is. It And I see a lot of 3.5 in the comments, and listen, I've got a lot of friends who still play 3.5. Um, I think I bought every 3.5 book they ever made for like 50 bucks and just gave them away to a buddy of mine. And I think that's still what he plays. Um, I'm a second editioner. The rest of my family plays fifth edition. One day they might sit me down and teach me how to play it. Um, but and they've simplified it a little bit. But Wizards of the Coast is still dealing with the same problems now that TSR had back in the day, which is how do we keep making money off this? Chris Cox wants to put it all digitally. That's not going to work because screenshots exist. What a dumbass. Pretty sure that dude was just bullied way too much as a kid because of his name. And he just is taking it out on the rest of us. But what we're really going to talk about tonight is how Games Workshop has done this over the years. And changing rules and stuff like that. That's I don't have a problem with producing new editions. There for a while, Games Workshop was doing it on a fairly inconsistent basis and quick. Like you would just finish. And listen, that person who was out there, who I know is going to be watching this tonight, calling me a brokey, chugging his copium. Unlike Dungeons and Dragons, WaRHaMmer is an expensive hobby. It is an expensive game. Even if you buy secondary market and you're getting some beat up, shit miniatures on eBay, you're still paying a lot of money. You make an investment. At one time, I had a Forge World Elysium drop troop unit. I built pretty much an entire battalion. I've got a picture of it. I'm sure I know it's on my Instagram. You just got to dig back. And I believe I was working towards a 10,000 point army, but I think I was closer to maybe 8,000. I'm fairly certain that I had to have at least $5,000-6,000 invested in that army. And this is just one unit. If I wanted to play, Space Marines or Orcs or something like that, you've got to put in quite a bit. So I understand, as per my comments, I'm still going to give Games Workshop a hard time because of the money that they charge, because people keep paying it. So are they wrong? But I know that miniatures will never be cheap. And they do consistently get better. I do have a lot of positive things, and I will always have positive things about the quality of miniatures that they produce. But Games Workshop realized a long time ago that they're susceptible to the TSR problem. And they're ruthless with it. Absolutely cutthroat, ruthless about it. Because unlike spending maybe 40-60 bucks on Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and maybe a couple expansions, a few minis. $100 goes a long way in the old TSR world. Doesn't go all the way, but it goes a long way. $100 in Games Workshop doesn't get you shit. I disagree. I don't think it scares them one iota. And I'm going to tell you why. Because 3D printing technology is not as advanced as the stuff that they can produce. Even Forge World, this is Citadel, Games Workshop. The quality of this miniature is fantastic. The way it put together, it's almost Bandai-like. So they're capable of learning, which is something that couldn't always be said about Games Workshop. These beat out anything that Kid Wiz is putting out with any of their, miniatures, Reaper miniatures. The stuff that Games Workshop is putting out is quality stuff, but it is also 3 times the price. But the minis aren't the issue. Games Workshop's always going to be expensive with their miniatures. The problem that you have is with their content, the modules that you need to play. And everybody comes out, they're like, oh, you don't like the new, the new handbook, which is, I haven't priced one lately, but the last time I bought, I think like a fifth edition, maybe it was 4th edition, Games Workshop, the book, the player's book that you need. That thing was more than $100 by itself, just the book. Right after it came out, I believe less than a year later, I think that, maybe even like a year and a half later, they come out with the next edition. Now, that's fine. You say in your head, oh, it's okay. I'm still going to play my 4th edition. Well, when all your friends are now playing the next edition, you have a situation like me. I'm a 2nd edition player. The rest of my family's 5th edition. I don't play 5th edition. So I just don't play. And now I'm in the head. So, I don't know if I can learn 5th edition because my ability to grasp onto things isn't what it used to be. My wife just gave me a real sad look. But Games Workshop, at least to their credit, or discredit, a long time ago realized what the TSR problem was. And they realized that they have to keep making these constant changes to their system to keep you buying. And they've got to keep updating their miniatures almost exponentially. The way their miniatures have improved in the last 10 years, I guarantee you can't set a miniature from 10 years ago up against a miniature of today and say that you wouldn't like to upgrade your system. So that means all the miniatures that you bought, they're now going to go in a box. They're going on eBay. They're going wherever, and you've got to reinvest. So they've got their system down that helps them beat it. And that's unfortunate because who misses out on and who pays for that is us. The only way to beat the TSR problem is to pass those savings on to the consumer, which is a problem of itself. It's still the TSR problem because we're not done yet. Because if you do that, eventually, as Mr. Diaz pointed out, no ad blocker. I don't need to know what you just did for me right now. Thanks. Sorry about that. Um, the other side of the TSR problem is if you find a solution for it, that means your customer is spending a lot more money. And that's not something that everybody's going to do. So you're going to you're going to cut your market down because not everybody is going to spend that money. And then you're going to eventually either go bust because nobody's buying your shit's too damn high, or as Mr. Diaz said, they're just going to print it out and use proxies and download your manual off the internet, which is pretty much what happened to TSR. I mean, I know that historians will argue for the next century about all the failings of TSR. But if you watch a lot of the people that talk about what killed TSR, the one thing that you will see more than anything else was they just sold themselves out of the market. They tried to fix the TSR problem, and in doing so, consumers weren't happy with it. They lost sales, eventually enough to where they lost their company. And they're not the only ones. The TSR problem isn't just a TSR problem. It's everybody. Games Workshop is, like I said, right now they're succeeding somewhat. You know, there's not a lot of WaRHaMmer players. But the other thing what really makes me single out Games Workshop more than anybody else dealing with this problem, even Wizards of the Coast. I've got gripes, but you know, it's for the most part, a lot of Wizards of the Coast people they're kind of 50-50. Um, I don't know. I don't know what the rates are with the who's happy and who's not with Wizards. It's the thing that it's everybody hates them, but you love to buy their shit. So, um, a friend of mine had a game shop, and it was an absolute treasure of a game shop. You could go in there, you could sit and play. You had WaRHaMmer tables, he had card tables. Excuse me. Uh, Pretty much anything, books, miniatures, paints. He would sit there and show you how to play WaRHaMmer. Hey, you just bought this box set? Well, listen, I've got some things set up over here. You know, come. I know he occasionally watches, so I'm not going to say your name, but love you, brother. It was a gem of a game shop, but a lot of his investment was keeping an entire wall of WaRHaMmer miniatures, and it was beautiful. When times were good, I spent a lot of money with that. And anybody who has ever ran a retail business, you know, you have representatives that would come by your store and say, I've got, you buy these. Um, yeah, I know you know where I'm talking about. I'll go ahead and say it's not there anymore, and we're about to get into why. Um, but it wasn't the only reason, but this is the reason that I'm going to talk about. It was a place called Dragon's Lair in Shreveport, and it was everybody. There wasn't a single person I met in that place that didn't make me happy to game. To I felt like camaraderie. There you go. It's a nice word. Um, it was a wonderful spot, and everybody was there, was happy to help everybody else. Well, if you've ever ran a retail shop, you get these representatives come by and they're like, well, listen, for this amount of money, I can give you this many sections. Those of us in the toy community, we know when you walk into the toy section and you see all, instead of an entire wall of GI Joes, you see, two pegs. Um, it There's representatives that come by and they sell you that stuff. Well, he had a good investment in that, and he worked it. I mean, there wasn't a lot of miniatures that stayed on that wall for a long period of time. When the new stuff come out, boy, you knew it was going to be there. He really worked it. He sold it. A lot of these little pots all come from there. I bought out so much ink and paint. Um, it But a lot of these games, and it's not just him. A lot of these games shops were all invested heavily into WaRHaMmer, and you find all these miniatures, and you had a Games Workshop representative who would come by your shop and help set things up. Well, you want to do an event? Well, let's set it up. Well, all the while, unbeknownst to those paying attention, that representative's taking notes. You sold this many. Well, we've got a really good. You're really bringing a market for us. Your events do well. You get hundreds of people. There's a lot of interest in this. We're going to open up a WaRHaMmer shop about a mile up the road from you. And they did this across every market, every place that worked their ass off for years to sell these little miniatures, to set up the system, because WaRHaMmer's it's not the simplest game to play. They taught they taught people how to play the game. They sold them systems. They sold them dice and accessories and paint. They taught them how to paint. They had giveaways and games and events, all to do the marketing for Games Workshop, so they could open up and just, oh, you want to do that event? Oh, man, we can't offer it to you anymore because we're doing it at our WaRHaMmer shop a mile up the road from you. And they took all of those markets away from all of those game shops. And it's not just mine. They did this to everybody. You remember how that good time you had in Ohio at your little game shop that had a large WaRHaMmer selection? How big is that WaRHaMmer section today if there's a WaRHaMmer shop in that town? Where are you going for your WaRHaMmer? You still going to that little game shop? Or are you going over to the WaRHaMmer shop? And the price, you have to sell WaRHaMmer stuff at a certain price. So for all those out there who gave me shit about WaRHaMmer and other stuff like that, and my 55-gallon barrel of copium, that's why I hate Games Workshop. That's why Games Workshop deserves your hate. Yeah, and other stores after my favorite shop closed down, a bunch of other ones showed up, and they some of them do okay. Some of them have some tables where you could play WaRHaMmer and stuff like that, but none of them, and I guarantee you this is probably true wherever you're at, wherever you're watching from, that you walk into your game shop, and I guarantee you, if there is a WaRHaMmer shop anywhere close to there, they aren't selling the WaRHaMmer. They aren't selling that WaRHaMmer to any kind of significant level. And if they are, they ought to watch their ass. Because the minute they start doing really good with it, Games Workshop's just going to open up a WaRHaMmer shop right up the road from them and take that business from them. They're going to do the work. They're going to do the marketing. And then Games Workshop's going to come in and take the glory. And nothing. Hey, listen, it's some cutthroat black sales pirate business. It's still business. And a lot of shops just, if they don't know that that's how Games Workshop operates, then, you know, some of them deserve what they get, because now it should be common knowledge. Yeah, and and that's the other thing. That we were talking about that earlier, Eddie. It oh, and why keep the box? Hey, it's good to see you, bud. I just always, yeah, I really, I liked it. I had somebody kind of ruin the game for me, to where I don't want to play it anymore. Just, but I still like painting miniatures. And it just, it is what it is. I'm definitely not telling anybody to boycott Games Workshop. Because this is a level that most of y'all will never think about this shit. Most consumers, they don't care, and they never will care about what I'm talking about right now. It makes no difference to them. They are going to they want their product. They're going to find it. If not from you, from where? So that's, and that's just business. Like this morning, they had 2 pre-orders for a couple G.I. Joe classifieds, and I'm gonna break the ice, just kind of clear things up. We get off Games Workshop for a minute. We can talk about the shit that is friggin' Hasbro and their Walmart exclusives every damn time. So Hasbro Pulse has these 2 exclusives in limited quantities up on Pulse. They've also got them on Walmart. Available at exactly 9:00. Not a second. No, nope. Don't show up 1 second before, because we definitely won't, start selling those out by 8:45. It So that was a mess, absolutely a nightmare, and I still can't believe that 250th America Anniversary Duke sold out in 3 seconds on Hasbro. I mean, 1, 2, 3 gone on Hasbro Pulse. Pretty sure, I don't know, if I haven't looked to see if on Walmart or any of the other sites have sold out, but I'm pretty sure at this point you ain't getting any of those crystal ball dire, green translucent figures. Are absolutely ridiculous to get your hands on. So it I tried I tried picking up I had a um Necron and went primered it and had to throw it away. Whatever plastic that McFarlane uses for any of those WaRHaMmer figures, the big meaty boys, I got one right there. Um and little Smurf. Tried painting that. I got one of the unpainted ones and was like, this will be fun. I like painting Necrons. And primered it. That primer just I mean, it destroyed that plastic. Sticky. I just had to toss it. I'm glad that I got it on clearance. It was only like $3. So at yeah, they're I don't know what people paint those with. If you just go straight and go straight to the acrylics, do not pass go, do not primer. But those things are unpaintable, in my opinion. And I've been painting miniatures a long time. Um, Award winning, I might add. The Spider-Man trailer. I thought it was pretty good. It's I listen, that's the little guy who does Spider-Man. I think it looks okay. We'll see um I hope the whole movie is not just him trying to get back those everybody we spent a whole movie of everybody's got to forget me. And now we're going to spend a whole nother movie of, hey, remember me? Um, I hope I don't know. I like Tom Holland. Yeah, that's his name. I like Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. They've been fun so far. And if I was married to Zendaya, I would probably, spend a whole movie chasing her too. So, um, yeah. So was the name of the owner of that shop, Dragon's Lair, and he had, he had a way. I think it wasn't that it so didn't need to push anything on you. He knew kind of could figure out pretty quick what you liked and was great at pushing you in the right direction. So, but if he knew you liked WaRHaMmer, believe me, he pushed that shit. Yeah, the Todd father ain't spending no money on no ABS. You ain't getting, you know, Citadel level. None of that. I mean, listen, I've primered um one of the Citadel not Citadel. See, that's where my mind is. I'm on such a piss on WaRHaMmer, mentality right now. Um I've some of the classified, no problem with it holding. So I know it's got to be the plastic he's using. It's that, yeah, yeah. It's like a hard rubber. Um, did Hasbro sell out? We'll see in 3 months. Now let me tell you what. You want to know what happens? Well, hold on. You see what sell out? What? Expand. What did they sell out? I don't understand. Um, yeah. But here's the thing about that. I they're not going to kill Magic the Gathering. All they've got to do to fix that problem is say, okay, here's what's not usable in tournament anymore. And then those cards are dead. And then come out with another set. That's, they're yeah, I just it's the reason I don't play Magic the Addiction. I actually my lovely assistant, me and her, we don't really fight, you know. We'll kick at each other's shins and call each other assholes, but we really don't fight. And I can't really remember the last time I was ever really just angry at her. Um, but she went and bought a friggin' Avatar, um, Magic the Gathering, and I swear to God, I was this close to just, nope, we're done. I'm done. I've had enough. Fuck. Bless her heart, but she had a good time playing it. So, um, I enjoy. I do some Pokemon. I play it the um TCG on my iPad, and you get those little QVC scan cards when you buy a pack, and you can scan it, and it gives you a pack to open up on there. And I've got the cards I like playing with, and I have a good time with that. And I like playing Pokemon with my kid. She's got a really nice collection. Uh, but we don't spend a lot of money on those either. Um, we pick up a few things. In fact, I think the last time I personally bought get these are the ones I like. Um, the little special editions that has the player names on there from tournaments. And I think by the time I get these, see, this is like from 2023, World Champion 2023. Um, and I don't even open these. And some of the ones that are fun, these level 3 boxes, the Battle League boxes. Because, man, I am completely stupid when it comes to assembling a deck. I have no mind for it. It is outside of completely outside of my purview. I have no idea how to do it. If you handed me a giant box of Pokemon cards right now and you're like, build something and let us battle, I would just chunk cards at you until got annoyed and quit. Because that man, if one of those boxes I just showed you is worth $5,000, don't try to break into my house. All right. And I used to have a lot. Me and some of my friends growing up are probably the reason that most Magic cards for a long time were put behind lock and key. I think somewhere in the mountain of stuff that is my mom's place is a binder. I think I've got some alpha, some beta, should have a complete collection of Mirage. That was about the era that I played Magic the Gathering, was Mirage. And then I tried to get back into it. And about $2,000 later, I was like, nope. I see where this is going. All I want to do is buy more cards, and that's becoming more important to me than playing. Um, that's you know, it's why I like action figures. It my play is posing it, putting it in, some kind of battle thing, or putting it away with cardboard crack. You just it's it's always about getting that dopamine and opening up that next pack. And it's gambling. That's what it is. It's gambling. It's 100% gambling. It's you don't know what you're getting. Um and I think that's why it just it's not for me. Like I said, I enjoy playing Pokemon. I really do. It's fun little system. Um I get my ass handed to me quite a few times, and I win a few times. But I don't have to buy these, mystery blind boxes. I hate blind boxes so bad. Yeah, that's but eventually you've got to yeah, see that's you, Rowdy. You actually have some intellect for that stuff, and the rest of you, that is not me. And I I know it's there. I n- I hope it's still there. Just like I remember my mom and dad buying those the very first run of the Marvel trading cards, and he bought a case of them. I know there's like at least 4 or 5 complete sets of those card runs and all the special cards, the hollows, um, just somewhere in my mom's stuff. She's got a lot of stuff. Yeah, they give me the shits. Is that what you're saying, Box? Oh, it, all right. While we're still talking, I am going to put it on this, and I'm gonna actually get a little bit of, painting this guy. Hard to see, but we're gonna get that fixed. It is, this guy right here. That's who we're painting, and I'm going to be giving this guy away. So I've got to, of course, I've got the army painter. Um, this is a fantastic um, wet palette. It's got your little wet palette, got a place for storage. I was just getting this one's mine, which is why it's all clean and never been used. Um, this is my daughter's, and it takes a little bit when you use a wet palette. You don't want to just go right in and pour water on it and immediately start painting with it. You need to wet it down, let it let it soak just a little, and of course some paper towels. First thing that we've got to do is drill out this blaster. I think I've got it. Things used to be easy to drill out. You'd think after years of people saying that you got to drill that blaster out, that GW would actually kind of start doing it for you. But no, that's too much to ask. I am so off center. I think this might be too big a drill bit. I don't. My wife collects cribbage boards. She's got, we've got an antique one, I think, that's probably from about the early 1800s. Um, Anytime she finds one in a junk shop, she always grabs it. And she always gets mad at me because I don't cribbage worth a shit. And you're saying, but Max, you should do that because your wife likes it, and happy wife, happy life. And I still can't do it. All right, there we go. All right. It's drilled out as good as it's going to get. Maybe. Come on. There we go. All right. Got some dry brushes here and some Dark Angels green because this is a Dark Angel. It's take a little bit of this. And I always, yeah, see, that's, no, it's not ready for that one. Lighter green. All right. This is moot green. If it's still any good. I really need to get one of those little ink shakers. The one I want is about $89. And really good. I'd get my money's worth out of it. Really need one, actually. Crap. Gotta have something here that's good at stirring. Oh, yeah. Back of a brush. Yeah. If not a stirrer, why does stirrer you look like? Ugh. That is not what you want to see. We definitely got to invest in. Hey, little assistant, we definitely need to invest in a mixer. Yeah. All right. Well, that ought to be good enough. Dry brushing. See if it works. Huzzah! Yeah. Guy's going to be pretty dark until I can. Usually at this first stage, the first little dry brush I like to do, I don't pay too much mind to the hows or the whys, just as long as it kind of gives me a good little coat. Because I am the laziest of painters. I used to, I think, do about one of these an hour, I believe was my about how long it took me. If I had a good rhythm going, I haven't painted a space marine and well, it's been a year or two. I think I've got my. What do you see? You see better like this or with the paper towel? What is? Or did everybody leave now? Max isn't bitching about GW anymore, so it's okay to. You don't want to stick around for this, everybody. This guy's got a chainsaw. Funnest. All right. We got a good little coat on there. These things actually start out green off of the miniature tree. And I primered it black because I just, that's the lazy part. Because I just really like that shadow in there. I like it to kind of do the work. Stirring this one. I don't need any. See, some of these new, this is a contrast. Some of these are okay, but these were my Citadel colors. These old pots like this, and I don't even know if this thing's ever been open. Uh, oh yeah, hard as a rock, but that's also 40 years old. These were the absolute best, and it would take forever. You could either screw the top off. You know what? That's still a little gummy. I bet if I put some, I bet I could bring that back if I really, really wanted to. But these things were fantastic. These in these bottles, mm, I don't know. I have some aged ones, but they are definitely not my. Well, I say I have. I've pretty much passed all my paints off to my kid at this point. She's fairly decent at miniature painting, and she really likes it. So I borrow them every now and then just to remind myself that I am capable of doing this. Okay, let's use a little bit of this contrast. Give this a little bit of a. Oh, that is. Oh, that is some thick. All right, looks like we're going to be dry brushing again. Contrast my ass. Paint. Oh, okay, okay. I'm starting to see how it works. It it goes on kind of like this contrast goes on kind of like a wash, and then I guess you just kind of dry brush it off, and it leaves the some of the underlying colors on there. So that's kind of nifty. Still going to have to do another dry brush, but Citadel got a little funny with how they marketed some of their paints here in the last. Well, shit, I guess it's at least the last 15 years. Um, Used to be you had, they started coming out with some of these like technical paints and different things like that. And sometimes they were useful. Sometimes they were just like, add some fucking sand to your paint and it'll do the exact same thing. So it was basically paints for, I think, people who don't know how to paint sometimes. uh, and I've bought a few of them, but these contrasts are basically just thick washes. I don't know how I feel about those. They kind of useful, but you have NAM. What's a NAM? Are we still talking magic cards? Oh, Nami. Oh, I see the eye. I thought, okay. Was that you that posted up the figure? The SH Figure Arts? I seen that the other day and I this close to buying that figure. And I've got some Nami statuettes, I guess you'd call them. Because it's Nami, you know. Little secret when you're painting minis, always let your wash dry. I'm gonna let that dry for. Um, the best cartographer in the Grand Line. Did you get a chance to watch season 2 of One Piece, the live action? I love that show. I love it. Absolutely. You know, animated series is fine. The manga, fine. All that wonderful. But that that live action is just, man. It's it's strange because it's just when you think this is for kids, you're reminded real quick that it's not. Ah, yeah, you got the Sanji. I Man, SH Figure Arts, I tell you what, they do good. Their One Piece, I who's doing better? Dragon Ball Z figures, you could kind of argue that there's a few people out there, and SH Figure Arts got their highs and lows. But when it comes to One Piece, SHF all day long. That's just all right. I think dump another pile of this shit here because I swear, my Scout's honor, the next $90 I've got to spend, I am getting a damn ink mixer. All right, I'm going to do a lot lighter dry brush on this. I might have mentioned this. You can win this figure. I am going to be giving it away. The way you can win it, and I will be going over this at the end of the show, um, is after the show is over in the regular comments. Um, I will give you a hashtag, and you will need to be a subscriber. You will need to like the episode, and you will need to leave a comment in the regular chat, not the live chat. So I will be also posting this up on my Instagram and in the on the community page for anybody who wants to get in on it. I am probably not going to finish our boy tonight. Because somewhere, the reason I say this is because there are these damn little kits here. They show you where they've got water transfers on their arms, but they do not include water transfers in the box because, of course they don't. Somewhere I have got some water transfers and I want to get that. Okay. I'm going to be letting that dry. I believe I'm getting pretty close to what I want as far as Dark Angels are super easy. If you are a lazy painter and you just want to play and you want your figure to look good, Dark Angels are probably the easy. All you need is black primer and, well, I would probably get some kind of dark green. Really hard to see that color, I know. A dark green and a light green. And you just paint it black, do a little wash of that dark green over it, and then hit the highlights with this little baby shit moot green. And everything just kind of comes out. Okay, I'll let that saturate for a minute. I'm going to do a few little details here. Let's get the dry brush out of here. I can pull up some in a minute. But now we're going to use our wet palette. Now, this is where things can get a little tricky for some painters. A lot of people's first idea when they're painting out of these pots is just to open it up, stick their brush in there, and go to town. And then they end up and they're sitting there and they're like, God, this just looks all clunky. The paint looks all clunky and you don't know what to do. Well, what you need to do is have a wet palette. What that does is it just kind of it allows you to take your time a little bit more um, with some of the paint, and it gives you a more even layer. So there, I've got some Screaming Skull. We're going to. I miss the days where I could see. I'm going to put just an initial layer on some of the lighter pieces. Oh, sorry. I always forget there's a camera there, and I need to not have it where I can actually see it, where y'all can see it, because, Pixar didn't happen, right? I wouldn't mind getting I don't know. I'm a little upset with SH Figure Arts right now because I didn't get my uh, SH Figure Arts Spider Man. I'm a little less unhappy with them because I got a super awesome one from Rowdy, and it makes me happy. So, but I still have a longing. Really, really like this. All right, and there, and just do the first just a little base coat. And the great thing about this wet palette is instead of it drying out on you, it's still going to be moist. And I'm going to go ahead and do a little initial coat on the skin tone. I ought to just paint this like shit for the giveaway. Just do the worst possible job I could possibly do. Just like make it nobody wants it. Just that bad. And I just keep it, and like everybody thinks I could paint, and then I just do it really, really, really bad. I did a little live painting. Um, it's in my videos. I thought about pulling down some of my old videos because some of the people that I have referenced in those videos, I don't. I'm not saying I don't ever want to associate with them again. I hope for everybody's redemption, but they're not people that I don't know. They kind of make me sad. So, but if you want to watch me paint a um, classified scale head, I did one of laser pants from 3POA, and no matter what, it's still, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to say anything right now negative about anybody tonight because I just want to have a good time and paint. But and it's still video of me painting. And I was told by some of the people that were most hurt by them um, to leave them up. So, all right. I'm just basically what I'm doing right now is kind of blocking out some of the things that I'm going to be coloring. I'm not worried too much about how everything sits or how it looks or what anything is, um, because I can always go back later. That's the great thing about um, miniatures is you can always, especially if you're using a wet palette and not bulking up, uh, your paint, you can always go back and add another layer. That's the best way that acrylics work, is working in layers. If you paint, and this is great, even if you do 6-inch figures like GI Joes or the McFarlane figures, if you can figure out a way to paint those things, let me know. Um, if you're working with acrylic and you're painting on something, a wet palette is the only way to do it. Um, especially if you're working on small scale. If you're doing large stuff, just goop that shit on, go to town. But all right, we're gonna get a little brown here. This one I am gonna not mess with the wet palette because it's leather, and I want leather to look kind of thick. So I'm sorry that I keep getting out of camera. I'm really not trying to do that. All right. I don't think I have any more brown on there. Let's lock in the colors on that blaster. I think I'm going to use some Mephisto red. Yeah, that paying more than $60 for that SH Figure Art Spider-Man just seems really, really unreasonable to me. But they've pretty much FOMO'd it, and hell, I don't even know if you can find it now. Um, I'm sure as soon as I say this, somebody's going to be like, "Oh, there's 1,000 of them on Amazon. You can get as many as you want." Um, I know if that's the case, I'm glad because I know there were a lot of people who were really excited about that figure, myself included, and all of a sudden they just disappeared. So Yeah, and the Haya toys, I'm not excited about the Haya toys. I saw in hand some of those GI Joes that they were doing, and I was not impressed um, at all. They they don't look good. The articulation's good. The accessories are good, and the sculpts are okay when you see the shots of them. When you see them in hand, they're not great, especially when you see what Joy Toy can do with that scale. It is there's it's definitely I'm not a fan of the high toy stuff. Um, Not across the board. Some of the stuff Haya does, I am very impressed with, but their GI Joe stuff is does nothing. Not when I can go and get 25th anniversary 4-inch GI Joe stuff that is really well done and looks good and has the articulation. It's and some of those faces, the face prints are just atrocious. And it sucks because I was really excited about some of those high toys. Um, and I know a lot of other people were too. So, okay. I think it was, I don't remember if it was the Flint that they did. And I just saw the face on it and it looked like that 3D printed shit that has that that Hasbro put on the cover art of the it just it looked bad in my opinion. I didn't like it. The eyes were just not well done. And the price just to get them, because that's the other thing about Haya is they're I know they do some other stuff, not just the GI Joe. And oh yeah, that classified Falcon. I I wasn't that upset with how his face looked. I mean, I grew up watching the original Miami Vice. It um I when I see Falcon, I just always think of um what's his name? Holy crap. The voice actor who did Falcon in the GI Joe movie. Um Chad will tell me, I know you will. Um Johnson. Holy crap. Why is it totally I am it's gonna come to me too. The minute I don't need that information, there it will be. Come on, chatters. Who did the voice of Falcon in G.I. Joe the movie? Don't leave me hanging. No, it wasn't Dwayne Johnson. Come on, Kaiju Kitty. um, you're better than that. Don Johnson. Thank you, Diaz. Yeah, see, somebody got it. See, I can always depend on you chatters. Even when all hope is lost and humanity has lost its way, chatters will always be there to see you through. All right. We got some colors blocked in. Let's see what else. See, this is the only reference picture I have got for this guy. So I'm sure I could look up more, but I'm not good. Yeah, Don Johnson. That when I think of Falcon, animated or otherwise, I always think of Don Johnson. And that dude was always ugly. So I don't know why the ladies seem to like him. In the Miami Vice days, he was who all the ladies wanted to talk about. But when that first figure of Falcon came out and classified, and everybody was like, "What the hell's wrong with his face? He looks like Quagmire," and I'm just like, "Man, it just looked like Don Johnson." I'm gonna see now. Somebody's gonna clip that, and I'm gonna get a bunch of Don Johnson haters. And next week we're gonna have a whole episode on why Don Johnson sucks. How they get you. You're like, I just want to have a good night, talk about good things, and then Don Johnson comes into your life, and it all goes wrong. I will admit, when they redid the Falcon and they did the new face, the one that came with Coral, the 2-pack, I will admit that head sculpt was a lot better. But I wasn't too offended by the. Oh, this guy's got a mohawk, so that's that painted. I'll be covering most of that up. Second round. Again, all I'm kind of doing is just blocking colors in. This is the way I've always painted these miniatures. Just don't worry about getting it right. That's where everybody kind of screws up painting miniatures. They always just want to do the Ronco method of painting. Set it and forget it. Instead of just doing a little bit, blocking in, and that's it. That's it, Diaz. You're getting 15 minutes in timeout. That go to your corner. Oh, Santa Jaws. Why won't you leave me alone? You haunt me with your candy cane horn. I have a short list of my top 5 do not films of all time. Oh man, Garbage Pail Kids? Really? Oh, man. Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. If at least Garbage Pail Kids had some production value put in there, man. There was, they may not have done a lot with it, but somebody put some serious money into Garbage Pail Kids. They did not do that with Santa Jaws in no way, shape, or form. Um, okay, I think I want to do a little bit of dry brushing on that red. No, no, it's time for some steel. That's what we need. Put some steel on there, man. Talking with Murphy down at the bar. He said they trying to talk him into some of that polymer stuff. No, sir. I said to him, no, sir. We putting some steel in there. Get some of that old fashioned steel plate. Got the little diamonds in it. So when you step on it with your bare feet, you're like, yes, sir. Yes, sir, Ma. I'm touching steel. Like Carnegie used to make, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I want. What I was raised on, what Pappy was raised on, and by God, Jesus Christ, that's what my babies will be raised on. Steel. Polymer. Polymer, he says to me. No, sir. No, sir. In this house, we got two things: Jesus, baby Jesus, and steel. That's it. It's time to take Max off the air. Max had enough. Started talking about baby Jesus and steel. That's when I lost him. When I lost him. Talk shit on Games Workshop, WaRHaMmer, and fuck Hasbro. But damn it. Talk about steel. You hear what happened? Jessie Sue, man, she's messing around with that young fella. He got her into that ABS plastic. They're hoping to be able to get her to talk again, but we don't know. We're praying for her. And don't get me started on cardboard. Serious watch recommendation. Since I love D&D, played as a kid, watched the anime Konosuba, about an awful party that succeeds based on pure. Listen, I'll tell you what. If you like kind of a D&D based anime, I'll tell you one that I really enjoyed. Um, Goblin Slayer. I really, it's definitely got some adult theme mixed in there. So you don't want to, rent the DVD for the youngins. But it pivots quickly. and it is a pretty decent show. Just it's not bad at all. I really want to find me. I think I'm not sure if SH Figure Arts did the Goblin Slayer figure. I seen one, but it's way out of my budgetary means at the moment. Which is, just about fucking everything at the moment. Um, I really enjoyed Goblin Slayer. It was not sure if they're doing any more of them. I haven't looked either. I had a hard time getting into a lot of animes here lately. They're kind of either they're unique and really interesting, or they're just a rehash of something that's already been done 1,000 times and it's just boring. So finding, some of the stuff that I've been watching, um, like I said, Black Sails is pretty much where I'm at right now. Once I get over that and turn Netflix back off for another 6, 8 months, then go back over to Amazon. Amazon's been kind of killing it here lately with some of their anime selection. I might watch a few more things here and there, but I always end up going back to the classics. Um, and I've always liked the movies more than I liked. Um, oh, reincarnated as a vending machine. Um, see, that just tells me that they're running out of fucking titles, man. They're running out of concepts. Um, either I'm not a big fan of shorts, other than the ones I'm wearing, but so you just kind of getting everything blocked update. Um, when I watch anime, I really want to kind of just get in there and I want to sit down and I want my instant gratification as soon as it's over with. I don't want to the idea of watching 1,000 episodes of One Piece. Uh, and I know people who've done it, and you have my respect, but that ain't for me. Um, Paprika is one I watched the other day. Um, that was really fun to go back in to watch that one again. I forgot how much I missed it. Metropolis. God, I love Metropolis. Such a fantastic movie. Oh, what else am I missing on this? Am I about? Uh, looks like I'm about done. Uh, I do not even mess with the base until everything else is done. Um, I think that is it for the first coat of metal. We'll go ahead and throw a little red on this purity seal right here. Tighten up any overspray I may have gotten on some of this. Sorry, you guys got to remind me to stay on camera. Picture didn't happen, Max. I don't know. I really just, I can't. I, I, I really want to get into a series, but as of late, I'm just easily disappointed. It's, I get into one and then it's like, and then it goes off, it pivots, it either goes off on some filler arc. And, that's one reason why like Goblin Slayer has been worked really well for me, because even if it has a little, side quest or somewhere in there, it, um, it gets back on track fairly quickly, which is slaying goblins. Um, all right. Work a little bit on some of this for doing the face. Where's that flesh tone? Got a flesh tone here somewhere. Hold on one second. Hey, little assistant. Have you got a flesh tone? Flesh paint. Bring me the flesh. Your father requires it. So you get most people when they're doing the heads. They will they'll put that shit on a little Q-tip or on a Q-tip on a little toothpick, and they will get in there. And you watch some of those videos on painting some of those heads, and it gets insane. I respect to those people who have that patience, but I ain't doing that. Oh, dear gods, woman. This is enough. That I got more. I don't need that many. Oh shit, kid. Um. Ooh, actually, good choices. Um. See, tiny assistant. Always. You gonna do it? Overdo it. Just start out with dwarf flesh here. Get that on the old wet palette. Wet palettes are absolutely where doing anything skin tone absolutely pays off, because it is so easy to lose details when working with skin tones. Just using paint right out of the pot. Yeah, it's getting there. We got a way to go. And the other thing is, like, and I've made this observation before, which is just the absolute shite that is uh, non American animation. Um, it doesn't, like, now everything is, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse did well, so now all animation in the US has to look just like that. Which, respect, is great movie. Hurry up and release part 3. Twats. Um but Wash brush. Um WB did pretty good with I've always maintained that all of the DC stuff ought to be 100% animated. Um, Justice League War was a good movie. It's Creature Commandos is probably the best thing that DC has done ever. Um, God, that was a great. That was just fantastic. And I've just, all right, where are we at, Chad? I'm waiting for washes to dry. So Oh, yeah. Yeah. Um, I'll give you that. Um, but Into the Spider-Verse is kind of what really just put it out there. Um, yeah, I'll agree too. I, it's, I like what James Gunn's doing. I had a lot of fun with that new Superman. Really did. Thought it was a good time. I cannot wait for Supergirl. If you have never seen the comic book that Supergirl movie is based on, then crawl out from under the rock you were living on and check it out because it is probably the most beautiful artwork that I have ever seen done for any comic book. And the story is amazing. Absolute. I mean, it's I was snot crying by the end of that movie. And then, and no spoilers, but you need to, I think it's um, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Um, I could call my daughter back and have me bring her a copy and show you real quick, but she's doing shit. So, um, I like what James Gunn is doing, but James Gunn with that Creature Commandos, that's all you need right there. That right there should have been like, you know what? This is where we need to go. Do a movie, take it from Warner Brothers animation has always reminded me of a little bit some of that old Sunbow animation that you'd get with the television syndicated GI Joe and Transformers. Uh and they do it on a movie level. So take it to pump some more money into that animation. Get some better polygons, some better rendering, some better shadow. Turn your RLSS on, and Warner Brothers has done animation for 100, almost 100 damn years at this point. Why do they fight it? Why? I think I ask this question every damn week. When you're good at something, do that. DC live action sucks. Again, I like the new Superman. I thought it was fun. Thought it was a take it back to, what Superman used to be, which is just some comic book shit. Instead of every movie having to be some existential crisis of the soul and he dies and it's there's never going to be these people need to understand that there is never going to be another first death of Superman. The first time they did it, there's you there he may die again. He may do it again. He's done it. He did it in the Zack Snyder once, and it didn't, and nobody cared. Nobody cared. You killed Superman. Oh my god. Oh no. There's only one death of Superman. When Doomsday beat him to shit, and they produced that black cover comic. Everybody in this country was talking about that. It was on, you can't buy that kind of marketing. You can't buy it. You make it rain all day long at that ad agency. You can't buy that. They're killing Superman. It was all over every TV station. The news talked about it. Everybody talked about it. and then they overprinted that comic so much and it crashed the fucking market. The death of Superman killed comics. It Creature Commandos was a step in the right direction. It was a great story. And I always liked the Amanda Waller kind of stuff. Um that was good. You know what? I will say this live action, the Peacemaker. Those are I still haven't got to see season 2 yet. Because I just am not paying for that another damn channel. But um Waller is the anti Nick Fury. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Um, yeah. See, you always know I cannot wait. That's I'm. I know they're kind of. I don't know too much about it, other than I know they're going to touch a little bit on that multiverse crap, and I hate that is where everything has to end up these days. I guess this is where we are, who we are now. Everything is multiverse. Everybody has to have their own version. Eventually it'll be every person just gets their own damn, movie. Because everybody wants their, Superman or their Earth 417 or yeah, just it's exhausting. Just do a damn story. I don't care if you're a DC fan or not. Um, I don't care if you don't like Supergirl. I'm always going to tell you to go to your comic book store and buy the comic. Um, Everybody needs to check out the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow graphic novel. It is. I don't have any words for how beautiful a story, the artwork, and the climax of that story. Just the end of it, and every bit of it. If you never had respect for Supergirl and you're just like, it's just some little side Superman character, the way that story deals with trauma of just it puts the it's just God, it's so amazing. I it just it's I don't care how big a man you are, you're gonna snot cry, and that's you reading that tale. That's how good a story that is. Um, and if you're a lady watching this show, buy that book for your daughters. Everyone, if you're a father and you have a daughter, go out, buy that book for your daughters. It's it. I can't recommend it enough. Absolutely cannot recommend. Um, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting on to 2.5 hours. I am going to show you where we're at on our little buddy here. I've got everything kind of blocked in. I will get him finished. I will probably finish him tonight because I'm feeling pretty good. And even though I have a massive watercolor that I should be working on, I'm going to get this finished, and I will have pics posted up in the community and on my Instagram, and I will leave notes in the down in the description if you want to win this figure. Again, subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment after the video is posted, after we're live. Live comments do not count. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, since Rowdy has been absent the last 2 weeks, I'm going to let her pick the hashtag. And anybody who, like I said, wants to win this figure, just put the hashtag in the comments after Rowdy tells us what it is. After we're done, after the stream is ended, in the regular comments, put it down in there, and I will be announcing the winner next week. Oh dear God, Rowdy. See, I gotta write this down. Hold on. Maybe you get a pen. Can't just no 3-letter shit. No, nothing simple. All right, hashtag Henry. Do you think when he does a WaRHaMmer movie that he's gonna have a mustache? All right. That's going to be the hashtag, everybody. Henry Cavill's mustache. Make sure you just leave that comment after CG it out. Oh, dear gods. Make sure that you Henry Cavill's mustache hashtag. I'll put it down in the description, and I'll leave a thing. Spread word, put it out there, and we'll give this away next week. I'll have it all painted up. You'll see pictures of it probably tomorrow or sometime if I can get it all done tonight. But it's been a good time tonight, everybody. And remember, we always end the show with a quote. So, here, you know what? Last week we did the first quote that was in this book. Tonight, let's do the second one. So, first Baron Acton, 1834 to 1902. Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that is from Letter in Life of Mandrell Craigton. Everybody have a great night. Be safe. Love your friends. Love your neighbors. And in the words of Rowdy Riles, love and support your LGBTQ people. And if you're protesting, carry some water and a big bat. Sorry, Rowdy. I didn't say it right. Anyway, everybody have a great night, and we'll see y'all soon.